welcome to another episode of Third Chances. Well, today episodes it's gonna be a little different. I don't have a guest with me, so it's just you and me. And I realized I have been sharing so many incredible stories from others because I love meeting new people and learn from their struggles and learn from their reinventions. And that was the whole point why I started this podcast. But few people told me lately, you really didn't share your story. And I have to admit, yeah, it's true. I'm more comfortable interviewing somebody else than talking about myself. But I know that I want you to know me. I want you to understand why I do what I do. I believe that's always the human connection is the most important thing that we have in this world, especially with all the AI tools and people losing their personality behind a keyboard. I know it's important. So bear with me. The whole reason why I do what I do today wasn't born out of boredom or trying to do something else, something different. It came from loss, struggle, and a desperate search for answers. So if you have ever wondered why I'm so passionate about what I do, about reclaiming the true health, freedom, and reinvention after 50, this will be my story. You know, the fun part, it's if someone told me 15 years ago that I'll be helping people to restore their energy and reinvent life after 50, I would have laughed myself silly because back then I was barely holding on myself. I used to be go-getter. I thought career was everything. I was trying to be the best in whatever I ever did in my life. And you learn as you we mostly learn from things that happen to us than when the life is going easy and everything seems to be sunshine. My identity used to be, I'm so good at sales, I can do anything. And so when we moved to United States, one of my jobs that I entertained and fell in love with was selling wine for a wholesaler in the state of Connecticut. I absolutely found it fascinating. Not only did I love wine, but I loved to learn about it, and I ended up teaching about it. I ended up conducting wine tastings, wine dinners. It was fantastic. It was dream come true. If you are somebody who enjoys wine, imagine you get to taste it every single day. You get to show it to people. You get to educate people about the real true meaning behind wine and the hard work and everything. It wasn't just alcohol for me. It was really someone's hard work that shows in that bottle of wine. And I just, the more I knew about it, the more appreciative I was for that. And so you would think everything is fantastic. I was growing. I was being successful, even though I started an industry I didn't know much about, in a new country, in a new language, in men-dominated industry, because I was at that time out of 50 people sales force. I believe I was it was about 3 women at that time. And most of my buyers were men as well. So it was really men's world. And that didn't bother me at all because I knew I can earn their trust and I can earn respect uh, by how I do what I do. And it proved to be true. I was so excited because I was growing and I was having success and it seems like I found my life passion. I could do it for the rest of my life until I couldn't, because one day I was lifting that 150th case to my car and something cracked in my back. And I was there for a big surprise because when I came to America in 2002, I already had 2 back surgeries in my lumbar. And being my body was younger, I always recover fast. I came back to fully normal. Occasional pain was kind of part of my life, but it would always go away. And I was totally capable of doing everything I want. Well, not this time. This time it felt different. I went through months of therapy until we realized that the only way to fix it was a third back surgery, a fusion, because the entire space where I was operated before collapsed, and it needed to be fused. And being that my body was that much older, I don't remember what, I was in my 40s, uh, it didn't heal as well. And also, the doctors have to go for the third time in a similar space. So the amount of scar tissue there, it was a mess. And suddenly, my world crashed. I lost my income, I lost my identity, and I was in pain. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't sit, I couldn't drive distances. I was in trouble. And I was told it's going to take a while. So I kind of counted on, I did therapy, I did all kinds of different therapies. I was patient, but I wasn't coming back like before. It wasn't like snap back. And I started to worry, what is it gonna mean for the rest of my life? I was still considering young, and suddenly I had a hard time to sit through a dinner with the friends, or sit through a movie, or drive somewhere for an hour, which I was on the road for uh, most of the day. I was driving between 250, 300 miles a day for my job. I was visiting my customers. So obviously I couldn't come back to my job. I lost that job. And now it seemed like I lost my health. And I was always health conscious. I was eating right. I was always exercising. I thought I did everything the possible way. And nothing that I was trying with different therapies and stuff wasn't moving the needle for me. Eventually, in order for us to survive, we moved to Florida because the living was cheaper and my husband's family was here, so we would be closer to them. So he retired because he has his own issues. And we ended up here. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But I was like, I have to find something I can do because we need more income. We need to survive this. And eventually, out of total coincidence, somebody told me about personal chef business. And years back in Czech, I used to run a restaurant. So I knew my flavors were really successful with people. People love my taste. I was creative in the kitchen. It was a second nature to me. And I was like, this is actually a great idea because it's flexible enough for me to pick a clients, to take on as much work as I can. And I can stand and walk most of the time because sitting was my issue. Well, unfortunately, it took off very fast, and I was very successful, which I shouldn't be saying unfortunately, but it was unfortunately for my back because I realized even with continuous pain management and therapies and everything, it was still too much for my back. Uh, I was at my best standing and walking around, but not standing for 10, 12 hours a day. And if you want to be profitable, you have to manage the business. It's just a big burden for the back, physical. And I tried to find people that would work with me. I wasn't successful because my standards were very high. And I eventually got really, really excellent customers because I specialized in diets that improve immune system, athletic performance. I was working with people that were going through uh, life-threatening diagnosis to improve their immune system with the treatment. Food can do so much, and I learned so much more that I already knew about food in those years that I was doing this. All the supplements, all the power of how food can really improve our health, the proper diet, not diet in the terms of what to avoid to lose weight, but the diet, the proper nutrition that can improve our health. And I became fascinated by it. It was never ending study. I always loved to study new things. And the more I found about it, the more I saw why we have so many problems in the world, because the food is so heavily manipulated, especially here in the United States. So I was successful because I was cooking clean. I was cooking from scratch. I was using high quality ingredients, and people can tell that it made a positive effect on their health. Plus, I was taking this chore out of somebody's shoulders, because we have a lot of people that want to be healthy, but they don't have time or they can't cook. And so the idea that, I have demanding career and then I have to come home and think about menu and research the diet and what is good for me, and then go and shop and spend hours in the kitchen meal prepping for a week. It's unimaginable for some professionals, and that's where I came in, and that's why my business was so successful, because I was helping someone to replace that time for that they can use it with the family. Well, as I mentioned, it proved to be hard as well, and I have to start artificially decreasing my business. I have to start refusing business, and that's hard to run a profitable business like that. But it taught me so much, and I already knew that I need to look for something else. And for years I was following Tony Robbins. I loved his way of teaching, and I was searching for answers. I was searching for my own personal growth. I knew the go getter really proved to be not such a good idea, because I paid with my health for it. And I was kind of learning how to improve my mindset and how to control my emotions, how to control my personal growth, uh, because that was new to me. I was kind of reactive person. I really didn't know much about it. So in the middle of that, at one point, Tony Robbins' team sent an email uh, asking me if I would be interested to study to become a coach. Never thought of it before, but I was really interested in the topic and fascinated by all the psychology around it and stuff. And I was like, you know what? That makes actually sense. That would be the most logic kind of use of all my life experience and different business experience and professional experience. I can actually really help someone so much with, with the lessons that I learned and with the right tools to help them overcome their own burden. So I jumped in, and I was loving it. I learned, and as my business was slowing down with personal chefing, I started getting clients for coaching. And I wasn't really a person to be online much, so I was private. So I was getting clients one-on-one, and I loved it because the body language and the connection is so much deeper for me than online. And as it happens, COVID hit, and suddenly everything was closed. And I realized I'm completely screwed because I did not exist online. It was a whole new thing for me. And so once again, my business was closed. My coaching business, I could not even translate to online because I didn't know how. I didn't have any connection. I didn't have any image online. I didn't exist. So it was a whole new challenge for me to start learning. Oh my gosh, what do I do now? I have to learn how to get following, how to convey my ideas, how to earn someone's trust. where it was saturated on internet. And because I wasn't there, I had no experience how to do that. But eventually, when you have to, you have to. So I learned, and I started gaining some traction. And I remember it was in the middle of selling my first master class when we suddenly get a devastating news with my husband. And that was on top of losing my mom in January of 2021, in the middle of COVID. So I couldn't even fly back to my home country to be there for her. And a few months later, my husband was diagnosed out of blue with something we had no idea that was developing in him. And I was shocked. I was shocked because I truly believed that we did everything in our power to be healthy, we were exercising, we had a trainer, we were going to the pool, we ate super healthy. I mean, compared to typical American diet, there was no comparison. Everything made from scratch. If we had bread, it was sourdough that I made from scratch from a high quality flour. I mean, vegetables, high quality protein. We did not do junk. My husband had a sweet tooth, that's true, but even that he was able to manage and kind of translated it in fruit. And, those cravings were possible to manage. And suddenly he was diagnosed with cancer. And one of the worst ones that it was totally shocking for me. Pancreatic cancer, we both knew what it means. And I was just thinking, how is that possible? And if it wasn't for him falling one morning and breaking his rib, we wouldn't even find out. That's how sneaky it is. He just collapsed in front of me out of blue. And when I realized what's happening, he didn't lose consciousness, he just collapsed. And we talked, and I was trying to help him get up, and we decided to wait for our doctor instead of going to emergency room because he was feeling fine, but he was very lightheaded, and just something was wrong. And when they did the x-rays, they found out a mass on the pancreas, and it was total shock for us. He was going for checkup every 3 months. There was no warning signs in the blood work. There were no warning signs, symptoms, anything. And we were both devastated. I was holding to that hope that I knew what to do. I knew how to boost his immune system. I knew how to help body to get into like superpower mode for healing. So I never lost hope. We were kind of, we decided to fight it. We started juicing. We started doing all the things I knew that helped my clients before, not realizing that pancreas is actually in charge of how the body uses all the nutrition that you give it. And if pancreas is boycotting the use of nutrients, no matter what you give the body, it's not gonna be used well. And so that was the marathon against the hill. Little too late. And unfortunately, I lost him 68 days later. And it was absolute shock for me. It's not like we don't realize that is part of life. It's not like we don't know that we are all mortal. But when it hits so close to home, it's just so unexpected. I moved to United States because of my husband. We started new life because he was home here. My whole entire family was left behind in Czech Republic, and we lived for each other. We didn't have my friends, his friends. Everything was our friends. And suddenly I realized I lost all of it. My identity as a wife, as a partner. We did business together before. We were inseparable. And men like that don't get born every day. He was a really exceptional man, partner. His goal was to set me up in America so I can be successful. He was so supportive. I took it for granted that I had somebody who I can brainstorm every single day, that was supportive of me, that would challenge me, that would support any crazy idea that came in my head. And suddenly I didn't have it. I didn't have that feedback. I didn't have that partner, that friend, not to mention a life partner. And I mean, we all lose people that we are close to, and sometimes the people that are most meaningful to us. But I don't think we are ever prepared for it. And we were not. First of all, I dropped everything to be on his side as a caregiver for 2 months. So the little of the savings that we have were going very quickly because we were not having money coming in. And then the medical bills, and then the copays, and then the funeral. And then I suddenly realized this is not going to be easy for me to survive at all. My whole body gave in. I was aching all over. My back was totally messed up because, of course, I was lifting him up and down and helping with the wheelchair and trying to get him outside. And the last week of his life, I really, really messed up my back. And I was in such a shape that I could hardly kneel down to help him put the socks on. I remember I was calling my neurologist, and he had to mail me the Z-Pack with the steroids, because that was the only thing that could possibly help me at that point. I was really unable to move, and I was the sole caregiver. So that kind of shakes you out of consciousness, I think. And I remember that first few months, I wasn't even noticing what's happening. I felt lost. I lost my confidence. I lost my professional confidence. I lost my identity as a woman, as a businesswoman. Everything was upside down. Nothing made sense. And I remember sitting on a beach crying and just seeking answers. What now? Do I go back to Czech Republic, where I haven't been for over 20 years? I don't have a home there anymore. My parents were gone. What do I do? And I wasn't financially comfortable enough to sit back and feel sorry for myself. I knew I have to do something fast to stop the bleeding, because I didn't want to lose my house on top of everything else. But I was not able to coach. I was not. I wasn't emotionally there. I could not bring myself to be my old self. I don't know if I can explain it. So that was the point when I realized that things can't stay the same, that something has to happen, something significant has to happen for me to survive this. And I always praised myself as being a master of reinvention. I have reinvented my life multiple times. But for the last almost 30 years, I have this strong man by my side, and he was a huge support. And now I have to do it by myself. And I remember the moment somebody, complete stranger, reached out to me via LinkedIn and sent me some video that we never met. He was like, "Hey, I see you are into health. I thought you may be interested in this." And I looked at it, and At that time, I was promoting myself as a coach. So I was like, where did he get that idea that I'm into health, even though I was? But he couldn't know it. And I looked at the video, and it was recorded by a doctor who talked about reasons why people may look into the technology that he was trying to introduce to me. And one of the reasons he said, you may be looking for this for somebody who is not here and he's not exposed to that information. Maybe by the time you look at it, that person is gone and you didn't share that information with them. And it hit me like a knife to my heart, because I know we were seeking for answers. We were trying to find anything that can give us at least a hope. And I knew the new technologies were coming all the time, and we tested some remedies, and we tested some new supplements, and nothing made a dent. I would never know if this would make a difference, of course. But when I realized the principle of redox, and I looked it up and I started studying what is on pubmed.gov, I was absolutely fascinated that I never heard of it, even though I consider myself being in a holistic space for almost 10 years. And then he sent me some resources, and I realized I want to test it for myself, because I had issue with my shoulder for 15 plus years. My back, I kind of get used to that. I occasionally had, chronic burst up, and I couldn't move for a few days, even if I did something little like vacuum the house. I was used to that. That was kind of settling for me, because I realized after a few years of therapies, my neurologist eventually told me, listen, that your body did all the healing possible. This is your new normal. We did everything in our power. Get used to it. So I got used to it, but I was never satisfied with that. So I was, when this came to me, it was just a few months after I lost Jerry. And I was looking, maybe it's time that I need to look out for myself now. Because if I am not healthy, nobody can help me. I mean, what do I do with all the problems that I have if I can't even work and exist? So I started kicking myself in the butt and telling myself, you have to stand up, you have to rise, there is nobody gonna come to save you. And when I look into this, I was like, okay, I have to try it. I ordered the redox protocol. I was educated how to properly take it, how to apply it topically and inside, and I decided to test it on my shoulder. And I remember I set up my cell phone for 10 minutes, because I was told, apply it 3 times within 5 minutes, and then wait another 5 minutes, and they reassess your discomfort level from 1 to 10. I had a hard time with that shoulder for years. We did all things possible. I couldn't lift weights on it. I couldn't push on it. I couldn't do push-ups because of it. And we tried everything possible with my trainer, who was very knowledgeable about human body, and never lasting effect. I put that gel on me for first 5 minutes, and I waited, and I regained full motion of my shoulder for the first time in 15 years. And I think you would agree with me that that got my attention. What the heck is this? I thought I knew everything. Don't we all? Don't we all? Yeah. So I went and started looking at all the testimonials, and I started playing those videos, looking into eyes of those people. It was obvious to me those are not paid advertising. This is not some star holding a product that they don't even take because they are paid millions to promote it. These were people, parents, brought to tears, sharing their experience, what happened when they lost all the hope. There were people that were sent home to die. And they are here 10 years later telling their story. I was so moved. I remember two things came to mind. I look up and ask God, why now? Why not a few months earlier when it could possibly make a difference? I didn't get an answer for that. And then I was thinking, well, maybe it's the sign that this is my new direction. Maybe this is a sign that it's a new gift to me that I need to share with others that may be in the same situation we were just a few months ago. We didn't have any hope, and I was searching for answers. Uh, so when I saw what it did for my shoulder, I called back the guy and I said, "Listen, who am I kidding? I need to do this with you." The last thing in my mind was to start a business. I was grieving. I was really in not shape to even learn something new. But I knew this could have been a ticket for me. I realized I need to take care of myself health-wise, mentally, physically, and financially, because nobody else will. And that was my story with Redux. That's how it started. And let me tell you, I was skeptical. I was afraid. I didn't feel confident to even bring it up to anybody. But then I remind myself, you were sitting there searching for answers. Somebody else is there hoping for miracles. Somebody else is there looking for something that they don't know exists. And it felt like obligation to share it with the world because I have seen what it is capable of. I have seen the results. I have met the people who were brought back to life. And it just, as much as crazy it sounded to me, when you see over and over the evidence and validation and research that it's real, you cannot help yourself but share it with others, and especially with people that you care about. Well, that's my bigger why. I realize now it's my turn. I need to live life without limits. I cannot limit myself physically. I cannot be in pain and trying to achieve something because I have lost everything when I lost my health. I have lost everything. When people tell me this is expensive, I am thinking back to compared to what? This gave me my life back. I no longer live in discomfort most of the time. I no longer am limited to 1 month after I started this protocol. I was able to drive 750 miles to North Carolina to visit my friends who were kind enough to invite me to spend Christmas with them so I don't spend my first Christmas alone. And I split it in 2 days, but I could never, in my wildest dreams, dream that I could drive several hours a day, get there in complete perfect energy, grab their dog and walk into woods to go for a walk because I felt so great. A month before that, I was not able to drive 1 hour to visit somebody in the state of Florida. That was big. I called it my Christmas miracle because I realized something significant is happening with my body. It's all the things that I believed that are no longer changeable, and they only get worse with age, as we all know. I was suddenly turning it around. Nothing was helping me before. I didn't want to be on medications. I didn't want to be on painkillers. And suddenly my body was healing. Something was happening. My hormones got stabilized. I lost my hot flashes. Within first week, I realized My energy was back because I went from 1 week to another in the gym. When the week before I was so wiped out, I was telling my trainer, I can't, when he told me do 12 repetitions of something, I did 7 and I was wiped out. I couldn't. And you don't hire a personal trainer to slack. You have him, so he makes sure you do the work that you need to do. But I was really, my body gave in. I was emotionally and physically exhausted. 1 week, and I came back to gym, and Tom told me do 12 repetitions, and I did 15. And I look up at him and I said, I can go on. I'm not even tired. And we both knew that something significantly was shifting. He was, by the way, the only person till today who already knew what redox signaling molecules are. Not even my doctors, not even my neurologist. He knew what it was because he was such a scientific nerd. He knew everything about human bodies. So he was really excited to see the effects in real life. And so we started measuring everything. And then he tested it for his wife, who had debilitating headaches. And for years, he knew what triggers were for her. And so he was tracking everything. Within first month, she only got 2 as opposed to 2, 3 a week. And they didn't last at 24 or 48 hours. They lasted 2, 3 hours and they were gone. I know that multiple times he had to drop what he was doing and run home because she was home with children, and it was so bad that they have to go to emergency room, or she has to be in a dark room and she couldn't even talk to children. So we both knew how bad it was. A month later, she didn't have any. Not even when she was supposed to get the period, when it was always 100% triggering this problem. So we knew that something significant is shifting on the inside of the body. And since then, I noticed so many different things. The fun part is sometimes it's so hard to believe, because we all live in the world of supplements and supplementing this, and I will take this for my brain health, and I will take this for my kidney, and I'll take this for my liver, and I will take this for my gut health. And that used to be my world. I know we used to do that. We are cherry picking what is wrong in the body, or what we think is wrong, and trying to fix that, trying to give the body a support tool for it. I realize with redox, it's completely different, because once the body starts healing on a cellular level, it addresses everything, even things we don't know that are happening, even things that we or even doctors don't know where they are starting, what is the root cause of it. And as you know, the medicine just throws pills at it and hope for best. I was not gonna play that game anymore. My health was way too valuable at that point to be playing Russian roulette with different pills, with different side effects, even different supplements, because nobody ever tested those supplements against each other. If you take multiple supplements, how do you know how they respond, how they interact together in the body? How do you know if they are actually being absorbed by the body, if they are not contradicting each other? Nobody ever do research like that. And I know it's all natural, but doesn't mean that blueberries are natural for the body, but some people are allergic to blueberries. So even turmeric, that is fantastic for inflammation, is not always safe for everybody. I mean, everything has some downsides, and I realize this is the only thing that exists in the world. And trust me, now I work with it for 4 years. I know that for a fact. And you can look it up. It's the only thing in the world that is actually native to you. You are not trying to trigger something in your body. You are actually giving body something that the body uses for communication. It's like It's like the communication system of the body. It's like when you have a computer, instead of adding memory and adding new parts and adding new screen, while the operation system still goes down and down and down with age, you replace the operation system and let the computer figure out where the issues are, because our body is so brilliant. And if it can have that optimized communication system like it did when we were younger, and we all did, and we were healing like nothing, that's the miracle of this. This is not comparable to some supplement. This is not trying to trigger body to do something and hoping for something. This is just giving the body the tool it knows. It's safe. It's native to you. You cannot be allergic to it. That's what fascinated me, because even food is not as safe. Like, I knew everything you can do with food to improve your health, but it has its limits, as I learned the hard way. With all the knowledge that I have, I couldn't help my own husband, and it completely destroyed me. Well, now this is something that 20 years ago didn't even exist. Science believed it was impossible to develop outside of the human body, because it's kind of like energy. It's energy that body uses for communication. So once the body knows where the problem is, the body has its own systems how to take care of the problem. And for me, it's incredible to see what it is capable of, not only for myself, but for people that actually started with me on that protocol and saw incredible changes to their health, unless they were impatient and they still have that pill mindset. Oh, I take pill for this and something goes away within half an hour. This is not it. This is not fixing one faucet in your body. This is a complete makeover of your house. And I think it's worth it. At least to me, it is worth it, because I want to be prepared. I want to be proactive. I don't want to wait anymore for symptoms to be hoping that I can catch something that will be still time to deal with it, because we all know that, putting out the fires when it's already burning is much harder than preventing the fires to happen at the first place. What I do today with redox signaling molecules is giving my body all the tools that are essential so the body can function like it used to. We are designed to be in optimal health. If we only didn't interrupt with all the stuff that we eat, we breathe, the stress, the chemicals, the toxins, we would be fine. Most of the diseases today are born from lifestyle, not from anything else. It's a diet we eat. It's the food, the pesticides we are surrounded by. It's, you name it. Someone once said that the amount of chemicals we are exposed to on a daily basis is the same amount our predecessors were exposed in their whole lifetime. Imagine, our bodies are attacked every single day. And for me, sometimes it breaks my heart when some people have such a prejudice in them that they believe that they know everything. I did too. I had that arrogance, like, you're not gonna tell me anything new. I know everything about the human body and how it responds and how it heals. No, I didn't. We don't know what we don't know. And it just sometimes devastates me when people just walk away because they believe that they know better without even looking into it and realizing it's working completely different than anything we ever seen before. That's why every university in the world is studying redox protocol, redox effect on basically every single function in the body. Without the signals, your cell phone is useless. You have really good photo album and camera maybe, but you cannot make a phone call. You can't call for help. And in the body, it's the same thing. It's actually how the body knows where the problem is, so it can go and fix it. The body, not us. The body, we don't do anything for our heart beating. We don't do anything for our lungs properly breathing. We don't do anything for our blood being circulated throughout the body. Who does that? The body, the brilliant machine of our body. And so it became my new fascination to understand what this is capable of if you only give it a chance. And it's been rewarding beyond measures, because not only do I get to help people that may be in the same situation with me, kind of feeling like giving up, trying to find new purpose in life because they lost the old one, or even women that were having good careers but realizing that maybe it wasn't fulfilling anymore for them. But most importantly, somebody who wants to be there and be meaningful and make an impact, but their health is preventing them from being there fully. And whether we like it or not, we all have that same one disease, which is called aging. And so our joints are not working as they used to. We don't recover from workout as fast as we used to. It's just everything goes down, and it's not the way it needs to stay. I am a living proof of it. Everything I was told by doctor 13, now 15 years ago, that this is my new normal, that I have to get used to it, that my body did all the healing possible, wasn't true. My body is in much better shape today than it was 20 years ago. And that's usually not normal. Like usually we decrease that process, right? Even with the challenges I had, even with the screws and bolts in my back, I was told I cannot lift anything anymore in my life. Today I'm deadlifting 135 pounds. Not overnight, but I grew into it. I grew that strength. I challenged my body because it now has the right tools to recover. And of course, I do it with trainer who knows what he's doing. I'm not going to hurt myself even further than I did. But if I knew about this before my second or third surgery, maybe I wouldn't agree to that surgery, because my life philosophy was always try everything possible the natural way before you, as a last resort, reach for medication or surgery. And you very well know that it's the other way around with when you go to doctor. When anything happens, here is the pill. Oh, maybe we need to operate. And it's such an invasive procedure and risky procedure that I sometimes don't understand that people wouldn't look for something to prevent possibly to having to need doctor for those issues. Everybody's life, everybody make their own decisions. I like to be in control for once. And obviously, I don't want to sound arrogant that I can control everything. We never know what's happening in our body. But do I want to be prepared and in optimal shape to face whatever challenge is going to be thrown at me? Yes. And I think I will be in better position to deal with it no matter what comes my way. And I just hope you understand this is not for me about selling something. I feel obligated to let you know that this option exists, because there was time in my life that I wish I knew and I didn't. And I lost the dearest person in my entire life because of it. Can I say that that wouldn't happen if we knew about this? I can't. Absolutely not. But not even having that hope and possibility and choice It's devastating. So that's the reason I do what I do today. You know, the takeaway for me was, by the time we feel something is wrong, it has been building under the surface for years. We just don't know. So I challenge you, don't wait until it's too late. It takes much more effort and money and time to fix something that is already broken than doing everything in your power to not even get there. I wholeheartedly believe that. It's my philosophy. It's the why I started this podcast, because I love meeting people that overcame, found way that works for them, and became health coaches, became trainers, became people that are obsessed with that new method that helped them recover their own health, and now they are teaching others how to do that, because there's so many options out there. It's just we need to really pay attention and listen, and I believe we can be much better off. I like to take control of my destiny as much as I can. I don't want to be dependent on doctors telling me what I can or cannot do, or how my life gonna look like. I don't necessarily believe it anymore, because I have proved them wrong. And I believe for everyone, no matter what your age is, you deserve to live fully with energy and joy, to have a meaningful life that means something to you, instead of just settling for managing the symptoms. I have done it for 15 years and I'm so done with that. And my new life philosophy is live without limits. That means the mindset, that means the physical health, and that means the financial dignity. The freedom that it gives you when you don't have to make your choices based on, oh my gosh, am I going to have enough money for groceries? Can I afford to buy organic? Because we all know that money is not the goal of our work, but we need them to survive. We need money to buy things. We need money to have life. We need money to pay for a living. And we take it for granted, kind of. When we have enough of it, just like air we breathe, we don't even give it a second thought. When we don't have money, health, or the air to breathe, that's all we can think about. And I just wish everybody will always make steps that will help them never to get to that situation. So whether it's your limit, financial, mental, or physical, don't settle. There's always options that can be entertained, and they don't cost you anything. They cost you to maybe just open your mind and look outside of the box for things you never knew existed. And it changed my life. That's why I do what I do. That's why I want to shout it out of a rooftop, even though I'm not a shouting person. I just hope that my sincerity can come across this camera and you understand. For me, this is not just sales. I care about you. I care about people. I care about people to give themselves everything possible, not to lose hope, and to be able to overcome things that many believe are not retraceable, that many believe are not possible. I love to challenge impossible. This technology was once considered impossible, and this company proved those scientists wrong. Today, we have universities from all over the world reaching out to us to study it, because it is absolutely new way to approach health. This is not another supplement. This is not another powder or whatever is there that is fantastic, but usually address one thing at a time. This is whole different animal. This, like Alan Noble says, this plays all the keys of the piano, not just one. Once you restore your operation system, your body knows where the problem is and can fix it. If it doesn't hear the signal, if it doesn't know where the problem is, God forbid it starts multiplying and now we have a problem. And by the time we feel that, we are usually putting out the fires. So I just hope my story isn't easy to tell, but I'm really, really excited to found this and be able to help others to restore hope and restore their health, restore their wellness, restore the quality of life. And look at me, I'm sitting here with you for how long now? I don't have a problem. That used to be impossible. My friends remember me when we had a dinner with friends. I would do all the cooking and everything, and then we will sit around the table, and long after the dinner was eaten, we would sit in the conversation. I would be the only one standing around with my knee on the chair because I could not sit longer than 20 minutes. I don't know how long I'm talking to you today, but it's definitely longer than 20 minutes. I am so grateful for that because my quality of life is back. I can travel, I can fly back to Europe, 8 hours flight. That was impossible. It's meaningful to me. This is not just about money. I got my life back and I got my purpose back. And if you don't believe it, that's totally your choice and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I would beg you, at least educate yourself, at least look into it. Because I almost didn't. I thought I knew it all. That's like, there's no way that something could work when I have tried all these things and all these years of therapies didn't make any difference. There's no way that something like this would work. Look at me now. So where it is for you? Where are you limited in your life? What is it that prevents you from living your life without limits? Is it money that you can afford to go for vacation, or you can afford to live a quality life that you wish you have? Is it settling for something that you were told that it's not gonna change, that it's gonna only get worse? Or is it in your mind that you believe you are too old to start over again, or you are too whatever it is to change anything? Let me challenge you. Everything is possible when you put your mind to it. When you open that door, you don't have to be ready to do the entire staircase. You just need to take the first step. I challenge you, please don't give up on yourself. I eventually didn't. And if you recall the beginning of my story, when I started with this technology, I was the last person to be thinking about new business or helping anybody. I was a wreck myself. I was deeply in my grieving. I was forgetting things. I didn't even know who I was. 4 years later, I gained new family of friends that are absolutely meaningful. I gained new community of people that think like I do about health and wellness and helping others. And it's positive environment that I was really, really seeking for. And I'm gonna fly to Cancun in a few weeks and be recognized on the stage for achievements that I have made with this company. And I'm really proud of it. This is not some false professional achievement. This is meaningful because every person, every dollar that I made is another person touched, another person that his health was restored or his dignity was restored. And something that seemed bloom and gloom, however you say it in English, is no longer the case. I think when we stop dreaming, that's when we start dying. And I always had that feeling that I knew I need to learn new things. I need to be open to new things. And I want to have hope. I never want to feel like there's nothing I can do. And I hope you are the same. I thank you for listening to me for all these years. I thank you for tuning in when I have a guest on that I'm fascinated by their story. And please spread the word. I'm not doing it for my ego or for myself. I'm doing it for you, and I'm doing it in hope that there's somewhere one person sitting losing hope, and they may need to hear that. Please share it with them. Be so kind. It doesn't cost you anything. Just let them know that this exists. That's all I'm asking, because I would be grateful if somebody did that for me when there was still time. So that's my story, or at least part of it. So I'm just hoping you better understand me today. Um, I went from thinking the best years are behind me, and I lost everything that was ever meaningful to me, to realizing that I can not only rebuild my own health, but I can find my new purpose. And with this reason, I share the Redux technology. That's why I mentor women to create freedom, and why I keep showing up here every week. Because I believe we are not just meant to get by. I believe we are meant to live life with joy, energy, and impact, no matter of our age or circumstances. So if anything in my story made you stop and think, I would love to hear from you. Please reach out. Send me a message. Share this episode with a friend who may need it. Or simply sit with the question, am I settling, or am I truly living my best life? Did I give up on my dreams, or am I ready to pursue it? It's never too late. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here with me today. And until next time, keep believing in a second and even third chances.